Alright, so we're going to try something. We're going to try to smoke this trout. This is trout that I caught yesterday in the mountains over here in North Carolina. Just fresh caught. It was a slow day of fishing, so I only caught one, so we're going to do something. We're going to try something. We're going to put this on my little Weber Smokey Joe, what they call it. Be the first time I've ever tried to smoke trout, or any fish for that matter. So here's what we're going to do. Right now I've cleaned the fish and it's ready to be smoked, and I had to decide if I wanted to smoke it just like it is, or do I want to cut it all the way through and pretty much try to make two fillets with it. You see, just cut it straight through long ways. And I'm thinking, because this is the way I would use it too. This is the way I would have it if I was going to fry it in the skillet, just like this right here. Alright, so what I've decided to do, because just for the sake of, since it's the first time we've done it, is I'm just going to leave the fish the way it is right here. Sometimes people will cut it long ways and get this side and this side, but you can see that it's not a small fish, but it's not the largest trout that I've caught before. So there's a lot of meat right here and here, and all this right here is good. So we're just going to leave it like this, because then we're preserving all. If I feel like if I cut through it, I'm going to kind of cut through a lot of the meat. So I just want to smoke it, see if we do a good job smoking it. Then if we do, the next time we smoke some, I'll cut them the other way and see if it's any different or any better. The reason I was thinking about cutting it the other way is because I wanted to use as much of our brine on the meat as possible, which this will be good also. So here's what we're going to do. What I've done is I've made what I call a dry brine. So it's basically a rub for fish, and you can see right here what it calls for is brown sugar and salt mixture. 2 parts brown sugar and 1 part salt. That's all this is. The problem I had was we didn't have any brown sugar in the house. So I have some homemade molasses that somebody gave to me a while back. And what we did was take sugar. What did we put? One cup of the sugar, and 2 teaspoons of the molasses, and I would consider this a light brown sugar. Then I put a half a cup of salt in here. So that's all this is brown sugar and salt. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and just rub it all over this exposed meat. Okay, just like this right here. And we're gonna let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour. It doesn't really matter. It's not an exact time, but you want it to sit in here and soak into the meat some. We're going to put it back in the fridge, and while that's going on, we're going to get our fire going out there and get it ready for smoking. Just going to use charcoal and wood chips to do this. Okay, and I'm going to try to put plenty of this in here just because I want it to work itself in. Now you notice this is why I was debating on whether or not I was going to cut this or not. Cut it wide open, cut it in like basically 2 fillets without filleting it, is because you got all this meat down here that I can't get this rub on. So however, this is the first time I've done it, and I want to smoke it and see if it's about smoking the meat more than it is about flavoring the meat at this particular time. However, we're going to get as much of this flavor as we can on this fish. All right. So we're just going to keep doing this until I feel like there's plenty on there. And we're going to let it sit. I'm going to put it back in a freezer bag and just let it sit in the fridge, just like this right here. So we're getting our coals hot. There's probably a lot more coals than I'm gonna need, but I just have a habit of filling up the chimney. So I'll have plenty of hot coals if I need it. And over here is the Smoking Joe Weber. So it's not the gold. From what I understand, it's the silver edition. A lot of people think that the gold is better, and it might be. The only difference I know is this here part is to catch the ashes as it falls out the bottom vent. On the gold version of the Smokey Joe there's a lock, like a wire that goes over here that snaps this into place, and when it goes in the side, there's 2 holes here and the same thing on the other side. So there's 4 vent holes. The vent holes are on the side of it. So either way, it's the same grill, and that's what we're going to smoke this trout on and see how that works out. So as soon as our coals are ready, we will put them in place, and then we'll get the fish on the grill. So stay tuned. So we're gonna dump some coals. I got the coals hot. We're gonna dump some coals in here. Not all of them. I'm gonna say about that many to start with. Those aren't even the hottest of the ones that I got. This thing here, it's already hot. So what I want to do, we're going to try to put them on the coals on one side of the, we're going to try to have a offset smoke, like all the coals on this side and put the fish on this side. So I put those coals in there, and immediately they're hot. And there's a vent on the bottom here, and I want to close that just halfway. I don't want it to be super hot. And then the only thing left to do is I got some I think these are hickory chips, soaking in some water. Been in there for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And what I'm gonna do is, should have done that before that got hot. Hold on, so I'm gonna take some of these mesquite chips. They've been soaking. Just like a small handful to start with. Might be enough. Shake some of this water off of them. Now I'm just gonna lay them on the coals so that they will begin to smoke quite a bit. That's where we're gonna get our smoke flavor. I gotta be real careful I don't put too much of these wet chips on those hot coals, because I don't want to put the fire out. That can happen. Alright, so then what I have here, what I've done with this fish, you saw me put the brine on there. I took it out of the refrigerator and I just did a quick rinse. I didn't rinse all the brine off of it. I did a quick rinse. Alright, so we're going to put that on the grill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to put it on here open side this way. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just take a couple of toothpicks and just kind of try to hold this open a little bit. It's probably so put one more in there if I can get it in there. The fire kind of hot. And there we go. we'll leave it like this here. You see how I got it away from the fire? And there's smoke cooking here. So what I want to do when I put this lid on there is I'm going to open this thing up all the way for now just to see. But I want the holes, the exhaust holes, to be on the opposite side of the flames so that the smoke has to come across this fish as we're cooking it. Alright, so let's try it. Just put it right on there like that right there. And we should see smoke.
I see smoke.
So the thing about cooking on the Weber Smokey Joe is there's no temperature gauge anywhere. Now you can buy a temperature gauge and drill a hole and put it on there if you want to. That could be helpful. Or you can just get one of get like your turkey fryer temperature gauge, which I don't think will really work effectively because it's long for one thing and it's for oil temperatures. You can get some kind of temperature gauge, stick it in one of these exhaust holes, but you lose an exhaust hole. Or you just kind of keep checking it every now and then. It's not going to really hurt it. When you're cooking a lot of fish or you're cooking a lot of meat and you keep checking it, you're pretty much slowing down the cooking process. But those coals are really hot and they're going to cook. I think they're going to have that temperature pretty higher than I want it. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it, and in about maybe 5 or 10 minutes I'm going to flip that fish over just to have it cook on the other side and kind of get a look at it. But other than that, we're going to leave it alone. Make sure that if the coals seem like they're cooling off and we're losing our temperature, then I'll get some more hot coals on there. If those are going to last, there's still a lot of hot coals over there, but it won't take long to get some other coals on top of it. So stay tuned. It started to rain, so we had to move the table under our canopy. However, we're still cooking. So it's probably been about 30 minutes. I did put some, just a little bit more of the wood chips on there, but still cooking. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's been about almost an hour since we put this fish on this grill smoker. All I'm going to do is take the lid off and turn it over as quick as I can without making it all toothpicks and everything come out. And then I'm going to put the lid back on it because I don't want to lose any heat if I can help it. So don't be piddling around when you're doing this part because you don't want to lose your heat, especially on this small smoker. Here we go. Oh yeah. Try to do this nice and easy like. I'm going to turn it around and I'm also going to roll it over. Just so it, see what it does right there? All that's starting to flake apart right there. Which tells me that it's cooking, but it also tells me to be careful with it. Not quite done. I'm suspecting with the amount of heat that's on there. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some more. I'm just gonna put, since I've opened the lid, I'm gonna put just a little bit more of these hickory wood chips in place, just to give it a little more smoke flavor. But right now, the grill it's not as hot as I thought it would be, but it's got some heat in there, so it's cooking. If it gets any cooler, I'm gonna have to throw a few more pieces of coal on there. Just gonna close it just a little bit, no more than halfway. And we'll let that smoke roll around in there. Probably look at it in another 30-40 minutes, see if we need to put some more coals on there, some more hot coals or something. Either way, I'm guessing, because this is like a trial, y'all, but I'm guessing 2.5 to 3 hours for that one fish in this smoker. Ready? Mm-hmm. All right, it's been probably just a little over 2 hours since we first put this trout on this grill, and around about the 1 hour mark, I flipped it over. And periodically I would come and just put some fresh hickory chips, wet hickory chips on it, just to keep some smoke going. But it's still pretty hot. I haven't had to add any more coals or anything. The done temperature for trout, smoked trout, is supposed to be 145 degrees. So I'm going to check it with this thermometer right here, meat thermometer. However, if you don't have a meat thermometer, the way to know that it's done is if it's kind of flaky with a fork. Somebody wrote a blog and said that if you stick a fork in there and pull it out, stick it in there and hold it in there for a minute or whatever, pull it out and the fork is hot to the touch and you burn yourself, then it's probably done. Between that and the flakiness of the fish, fish is always supposed to be flaky, so that's how you know they're done. Like I said when I started, this is an experiment for me, so it may or may not be done right now. If it is, we're going to taste it, and if it don't taste good, then we're never going to do it again. We'll do something else. We're going to smoke fish again. We just won't do it like this again. Anyway, it's been just about an hour, 2 hours, and maybe 10 or 15 minutes since we put it on. So here we go. Let's see what we got. So we got. It looks smoked to me. And so what I'm gonna do is put this thermometer right here, and we'll get the camera on there so y'all can see it. And it's showing like well over the 145 degrees. So I would guess that this meat is going to be done. The question is, does it taste good? That's going to be the question. So what I'm going to do is, like it's supposed to be just kind of flaky. If you put the camera right there, you can see right back here, when I picked it up to move it, it flaked off a little bit. So we'll see when we pull it off. We're gonna see what it looks like. All right. So I mean, I could put my hand over here and feel some pretty good heat still, and you can see how much coals I had in there. I don't know. It's probably about 20 coals at the most, and they're still putting off some good heat. So for one fish, I probably could have put 2 on here like this, 2 fish this size, and it probably would have done just fine. Okay. And it probably would have cooked, it probably would have smoked both of them. I don't think I could have put any more than that on there unless they were a different kind of fish, a smaller fish. But this here is a medium. I would say this is a medium to small. I would say this is a medium-sized trout for where we live. And I've caught some bigger than this, and I've caught a lot smaller than this. And the smaller ones eat up too, pretty good. So it's just a matter of what you're able to catch. I suppose you could go to your fish market or the grocery store and buy some fish and do the same thing, but I like to fish, so this is what we do. So let's see what we do. What we're going to do is we're going to just kind of open this up a little bit. Maybe I'll just take some of this skin off right here, because I'm not sure I'm going to eat smoked fish skin. Usually when I fry it in a pan, I'll fry it up just like I got it here. I'll just fry it all up and it all tastes good, every bit of it. Of course, we get the see how that's kind of flaky right there? Smells good. Pretty flaky. Let's see if it tastes good. Here goes nothing. Wow. I think, look, see how it's falling apart? I think that's the way you want it. I know it tastes really good. I'm going to give some to my wife who's holding the camera, and she can say. And the thing about it is, it's not burning your mouth hot. Does it taste good? Mm-hmm. Taste smoky? Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Yeah. That's good, y'all. So, just over 2 hours. I think we could have went 2.5 hours and it still would have tasted good, but I think any more than that, it probably is going to be what I would call overdone, but you can smoke it all day long and it would still be good. It's just going to, the longer you smoke it, the more you're going to get closer to like a fish jerky type thing, which is probably good too. I'm going to try that one day. So anyway, I'm going to eat this fish, y'all. So right here on the smoker, one trout. You saw my brine. All it was brown sugar and salt. And you saw how I cut it. I cut the skins just to get the brine in there and let the smoke flavor get in there. And I put it on the grill, and it's been on there for 2 hours and 15 minutes maybe. And it tastes really good. So there you go, smoked